Hello survivors and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be looking at Jackson, who is a leaked future Ascendable. He of course is leaked, so we don't know what he's going to look like as a 6-star, but I'm going to do my little fun prediction thing again. And I have to say once more, just so it's very clear, this is just a prediction, just a bit of fun. This is not what the 6-star looks like. Right now we have no idea what the 6-star looks like. This is 5-star Jackson, so we can just get a good idea of what he starts off as. And he is a healer. He's definitely a healer. His role is medic, but he's got heals everywhere. His adrenaline rush is called Spirited Rally, and it is a 56 AP rush, so it was reasonably fast in the 5-star world. All teammates regain 50% of their max HP and recover from attack penalties and defense penalties. So he was pretty nice. I wouldn't say he was super spectacular. The biggest issue, of course, is that he was kind of overshadowed by SR Ezekiel, in terms of SR Zeke's heal was just as powerful, but the attack and defense buffs were absolutely insane, so would have just been so much better and so much more useful than Jackson generally. He did have a leader skill as well, and here again SR Zeke's one did overshadow this one. All strong teammates get 30% attack and 30% HP, so kind of the strong version of 5-star Clementine in terms of just 30%, but he gives attack instead of defense. I think as a 6-star he'll probably keep this and he'll go to all melee. But we'll just look at what he looks like as a 6-star. So as you can see, this is what he looks like. He apparently has been upgraded to a fireman. I believe that's a fireman's outfit. He's managed to rummage a fire station, which is actually probably pretty good defensive gear in terms of keeping those bites away. So like 10 out of 10 for apocalypse protection, 100% I'd go for that. And we'll look at his stats. He's got 1,500 attack, 1,821 defense and 2,036 HP. So very tanky, not much attack stat, and based on that 5-star that we saw before, he probably won't have an offensive rush, so that's a good thing. His trait is strong and his role is medic. He is going to keep that medic role. Now my idea of what he could have as an adrenaline rush, it's going to be called Spirited Rally, same as it is a 5-star. I'm not going to get into that guessing game for the 6-star rushes. They do come up with different names for the 6-star rushes. Generally they're pretty good, but it's pointless. It's pointless to guess that. Now the rush, I'm going to basically just slightly upgrade it. It's going to be a 70% heal, but it's going to be over 2 turns. So all teammates regain 35% of their max HP for 2 turns. Before it was all teammates regain 50% of their max HP, just straight up. Now it's going to be recover from all penalties, because before it was attack and defense penalties. I'd probably say it will be remain about that. I would not be surprised if it actually got nerfed down to less than all teammates as well, because that is quite powerful. But I'm going to keep it at all teammates, and also all teammates are going to gain 40% attack for 2 turns. So all around, this guy is just a healing buffer, sort of recovery bot. You know, he's there to just sort of save the day and help all of his teammates out. So now I move on to his active skill, and it is going to be a bit of a gap closing active skill in terms of there are promo active skills that are similar but just more powerful. This is called Elusive and AP Gain. It has got a 2-turn initial cooldown, so pretty fast. The cooldown afterwards is 4 turns, so pretty slow, and then the number of uses is 3, so quite low. And it's this character gains 40% AP, so Jackson would gain 40% AP, but all other teammates would gain Elusive for 1 turn, which is identical to Raven's active, but instead of being 2 turns, it's 1 turn, so nowhere near as powerful. Very easily dealt with. Obviously you just attack Jackson, but it will close the gap a little bit in terms of free-to-play getting access to quite strong sort of active skills, which are just so massively prevalent within promos right now. If you're someone who's willing to drop money on the game, Raven is a much better character to go for in terms of her active skill. And I'd say even if you had Jackson and this turns out to be his active skill, it would still be worth getting Raven as well, or instead of Jackson here. Now I move on to his leader skill, and like I said before, I'm just going to keep it at where it is. All melee teammates get 40% attack and 40% HP. It just gets bumped up to melee instead of it being strong, and it just becomes 40-40. Kind of what happens to every single leader skill. We didn't really need another leader, if I'm honest. That is the biggest downside. If we did see him move to a specialist, that would actually be pretty good. And maybe we could get a specialist, which we don't really have within free to play. I couldn't really say which one, if I'm honest. I really couldn't say. There's so many, but any specialist would do, because I don't think this leader skill is going to be actually that useful at all. So this is the leak of upcoming Jackson. This is my idea of what he could potentially be like in terms of how useful he could be like this. What do you think? Do you have better ideas in terms of how his rush could work? in terms of what his active skill could be. The active skill is the hardest one to guess, but I just went for one that would mainly be about, you know, making it a bit stronger. The Adrenaline Rush is a bit more predictable because generally it's just a buffed up version of the 5-star, maybe a couple of changes. But I don't think it's going to be as powerful as this. As much as this character is nowhere near the sort of power we're seeing within promo characters, I don't think this character is going to be anywhere near as powerful as what I've just predicted or just had a little bit of fun making, unfortunately. And one of the things that obviously sticks out about Jackson is the fact that he is a defensive character. We have received a lot of defensive characters within Legacy promos within Generation 2. We only have this would be the 6th. If it was the 6th character to come out, it would only be the 6th character. And all the other Elite characters are all defensive characters as well. We have 0 offensive upcoming leaks, and out of 5. And all of the ones that have been released, only Donnie is an offensive character, but he's generally seen as a leader on a defense team. And Sawyer, who was just a massive letdown, such a massive letdown. He could have been so much better. If he would have had like 600 bleed on his weapon, it still wouldn't have been great, but it would have been like maybe usable in certain teams. You know, having him in a bleed team. Right now, he's just absolutely useless. The rush is just like one and a half years old in terms of how useful that is. The only thing that's good on it is the heal block. But he's meant to be a damage dealer that does no damage. And we desperately need damage dealers within free-to-play. I mean, I don't think I can say it enough. Legacy Ascendables are the main way you can gain characters basically at any point. Obviously, event characters are very limited. It is limited by power. It is limited by time. It is actually limited by actually being able to play the game at that point. For instance, if you started your game tomorrow and a character was to come out within an event tomorrow, you're most likely not going to be able to get that character, just because obviously you've not got the power to sort of achieve the milestones, that sort of thing. We don't get enough login events. We don't have enough old characters get released within login events. So these characters are kind of what we're relying on. And Jackson, as much as I hope he's great, I don't have him myself. He was available in League Season 3, I think it was. And I did say when I did my what to buy video in terms of I didn't think Jackson was worth picking up unless you wanted to take the risk of him being potentially a future Ascendable. And it looks like if you did take that risk, it paid off for you. And of course, it just brings more attention to the video I made recently. These days have extended, obviously, because it has been over a week since I made that video. So it has been 101 days, and we've only received 1 Ascendable in the last 101 days. Douglas, then Sawyer, 42 days ago, and then nothing since. The rate at which Ascendables are being released is nowhere near fast enough at all. They need to start releasing characters now. It needs to start happening on a much more regular basis. They need to catch up on what they've not released already. By the end of July, we need to have like another 2, 3, 4 characters maybe released in terms of just being able to catch up. Legacy characters are not being released fast enough, and considering the power of these promos is absolutely ridiculous right now. The characters released within 2019, as you can see, there's only been 5 Legacy characters. And there have been 25 promos. And these promos are just going to continue to come out. There'll be one every week. And that's just the way it's going to go. So far it's 5 promos for every 1 Legacy, which is really, really bad. Considering the power discrepancy between these 2 groups as well, I don't understand why Legacies just aren't released. People who buy promos aren't even using Legacies really. Maybe the odd one in terms of particular character might be a good leader. For instance, I've seen Donnie on some promo teams. But that unlocks other promos. It actually makes the potential for them to buy promos because they can see how it can work with legacies they've already got. If they haven't got the characters, especially like people who aren't able to put huge amounts of money into the game, they're only going to be able to buy the odd character here and there, or like go for the odd character here and there. They need the legacy team already to have that character that can be, you know, slot into the characters they've already got. And right now, we just don't have enough access to Generation 2 characters within free-to-play. It's just as simple as that. But that's Jackson, guys. Do tell me what you think about him becoming a free-to-play Ascendable. Have you got Jackson? Have you lucky enough? Did you claim him from the store? Because if you did, like I said before, you have lucked out. It was the 6k worth spending. I think they're normally 12k for an Ascendable, so you basically saved 6,000, which is nice. That's it in my video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.